Hello, everybody. This is your host, Aiden. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another stream of Storytime. I guess this is now a regular thing because I enjoyed it the last time. So I'm doing it again this time. I don't know why I'm using this cadence. It might be because I have some sleep issues. uh Hi everyone. Welcome. All right, let's see. Oh, that's my phone. Why is my phone ringing? Oh, it's just my phone telling me that my live stream is live. Great. That's fantastic. I am so professional at this. Ah, man. Surprise Umbreon. Yes. Welcome to uh Real Shoe riding an Umbreon because why not, right? Hi, Luminubi. Hi, Karon. Oh my god, that's two Limbus people now. Two people at the start. That's new for me. Hi. Hang on. I want to start the music. I the last time I the last stream I did, one of the music I used got copyright struck, even though the person who made the album told me that that shouldn't happen. It's very annoying. But so this time I'm gonna use music from YouTube's audio library. Hopefully none of it will get copyright struck, but the quality of it is gonna be subject to randomness. All right, we'll just let it roll. All right, so here for story inspiration. Yes, please stay here for story inspiration if you want. Oh man, this music is terrible. I don't want any. I don't want any. I don't want any vocals in my music though. Imagine, Sharon. Imagine no copyright song suddenly copyright all the songs somehow that or Kevin MacLeod. You know what? I could probably play a bunch of Kevin MacLeod. Can I just look for Kevin? I think I can just. Oh, Kevin only has one. Oh no, Kevin has a lot. You know what? Let's just play all of Kevin's music. For people who don't know, Kevin MacLeod basically make like royalty-free music, Creative Commons royalty-free music. He's super famous amongst like video creators. You probably heard his music somewhere. Let's see. All right, everything's playing. Seems fine. Calm enough. Hopefully, it will be fine. If it's not fine, I'll deal with it later. Can I reduce the song volume? Yes, I can. Hang on. Is this better? Here we go. Should be better. All right, I have a new mic, so my setup's a bit wonky. If the audio doesn't sound right, let me know. I should be able to adjust it. But yeah, life is. I have upgraded basically. That's how it works now. Or give me a moment to. I think it's this thing. Okay, testing. Mic testing. What are we doing today? Okay, we are going to be writing the introduction to the story from last week that we came up with. I've decided on, so continuing from last week. Oh, that's bad. I think I just showed my address. Damn it. I will have to blur this out later. Please don't look for it. This is what happens when I use templates. Okay, never mind. So last week we came up with three different types of concepts to write. Maybe make a new stream. No, it's fine. I mean, after the stream ends, I can edit the VOD a little bit so that it'll be so I can like blur it out. It'll be fine. Nobody watches my stream. Who's gonna know, right? Who's gonna know? Did nobody bring it up, and it'll be fine. So last week we came up with like 3 concepts for short stories to write, and I have decided to write the romance short story. No, I'm just kidding. I've decided to write the first one, the convention fantasy short story. I thought it was cool. It's interesting. It's within my capabilities to not make it too, I don't know, cheesy, and I'm comfortable with it, you know. Yeah, I know Illuminati they want the romance story. Also, yeah, I get to credit Illuminati for this. So yeah, if anyone helps me during the stream, you will get credit for the story when I put it out on my Patreon when I'm done writing. So Illuminati will be credited as a I guess storyboard assistant. That will be how I'll be crediting things. And if you helped out now or later than now, you get what I mean, right? If you helped out in this stream, you will be credited as I guess writing assistant. That makes sense. That makes sense. I am sense making. I am great. Everything's fine. I'm not tired. I don't have chronic insomnia. Alright. So we are going to write these write the opening for this story. I want a title. I don't have a title yet. I like to think of a title usually to, what am I trying to say? I like to have a title before I start writing because it gives me a frame of reference for how the entire story is going. Give me a moment to look at chat. Suddenly feeling like writing Caron X Bong Bong Doom Theory. Jesus Christ. Sure, go ahead. Writings, you can do anything you want. That's how writing works. I just remember I had a small Gmod Machinima series where it was completely unvoiced, so all the dialogue was on screen text. That could count as writing experience, I guess. Am I just good? Oh, hang on, wait. Even if it was voiced, if you wrote those lines, it will still be writing experience, because, you know, voice lines are still lines. If you wrote it, it's your writing credit. Illuminati, am I just gonna wing the whole story? Sort of. So how I write stories that I have 3, I will usually have 3 things. I will have a give me a second to adjust this new mic. I have like a proper mic stand now, so this is gonna take some getting used to. I won't have a new mic stand for my normal video because this setup is on my computer, which is across the room from where I usually film, and I don't know how to drag all the cables out the other side. But yes, let's get to it. How I usually write is I have 3 things. I will have a starting point. Let me change the font. Okay, I have a starting point, I have a midpoint, and I have an end point. Why am I auto-correcting? End point. I have midpoints. Points, plural. So I will write how I start a story, and in the middle I will have things I want to happen, and I will have an end point where I know how the story is gonna end. And in between, I kind of let characters drive how the stories will be written, how the story goes. I will plop a character in and their actions will decide it. They usually derail my story. I know it's kind of cliche to say characters are alive, but they kind of are when I'm writing. So yeah. Honestly, I think I'm pretty good at writing some slightly decent dialogue because I had a roleplay phase where I was young and played SCP roleplay games, and I had another roleplay phase. Alright. Caron, I also had a roleplay phase. I roleplayed Heroes, the TV series, a lot. It really did help my dialogue writing, but I think it helped me more with my character writing. My dialogue writing really went up a notch when I started watching more TV series with good monologues. Very cliche again, like Aaron Sorkin's West Wing, The Newsroom. My dialogue, Doctor Who, those are really great dialogue writings, and it really brought out my my monologue skills. I think it's best to learn how to write dialogue through actual dialogues. It gives a kind of life that you can't really have it. Yeah, Illuminate dialogue is hard to write for you. Yeah, that would be my advice for it. You know, I predicted the advice before I gave the advice before reading your reply, because I can see the future. I am so insomnia brain right now, but I can write. So starting point, midpoint, end point. I have a starting point plan. I have a midpoint plan. I also have an endpoint plan. This is a short story, so I'm aiming for 2,500 words. Around there. My short story is usually between 1,500 to 3,000 words, so I'm aiming for that around there. There'll be Arc 1, Arc 2, Arc 3, you know, general, normal story writing arcs. So yeah, I don't just wing it. I kind of wing it. I don't always wing it. Anyway, write when sleep deprived, edit when refresh. Yes, correct. I don't know why I do it the other way, but that should be the way you do it. I have a cup of tea. This is so bitter. Trying to keep me awake. Alright. So, opening scenes of a short story, of any story, really. You want to establish as many things as you can within the first paragraph, within the first sentence even. So, like I said before, this story is going to be in second person. So we're going to start with, this story is going to start in I have a setting that I've been coming up with while after the last stream. I've been like conjuring up what this world will look like. It's going to be very close to our world. And of course we have the concept of powers, of like costumes and fandoms granting the relevant powers and abilities to whoever is within wearing the costume and fandom. I roughly have an idea of how it would work. For us to come up with like for this setting to make sense, for this story where like there are corporations that owns these powers to make sense, I feel like this phenomenon cannot be a natural occurrence in the world, or at least it cannot be a thing that originated long time ago. It must be something new, right? So the corporations are able to copyright it. So we need to, the powers will have appeared within a setting equivalent to that, a world, a modern a normal world as close to ours as possible, but with like a twist. So the setting is gonna be very modern, urban. That's what I've come up with. And let me see the chat. Well, Caron, in my opinion, the hardest part of writing for me is 1, coming up with a name, and 2, not embarrassing myself mentally. Eventually, like, I learn how to talk to myself when I'm writing. I will do dialogues with my characters. I'll go like, "Hey, you, what you gonna do? Fight me?" You know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know how this will play out on stream, because now I'm technically not talking to myself. I might get embarrassed. If I do, you're gonna hear it in my voice. Illuminati, will the fandom in the story be made up once? Yes, it will be made up, but very close to real life fandoms. that we know and love. I have an ending in mind. So like I said, starting point, midpoints, end point. The end point, I am looking at a kind of standoff. I am looking at bringing up Kamen Rider for those who partake, right? I'm a big fan of that fandom myself, so I'm within that sphere. So I'm gonna use that as the endpoint, the Kamen Rider teaming, and I think we'll get there when we get there. I kind of want to keep some mystique for the stream, you know. So I might talk more about it while I write. So I want to start out with the setting. You, because we are starting out with the character you, second person, in the setting of a normal world. You jolt awake as the train. Why did it change back? I thought it sorted the career. Alright. You jolt awake as the train. What does train do to jolt you awake? It rumbles, shakes? No, I don't usually wake up when the train rumbles, because train rumbles all the time. So it has to be something, a screech as the train's unoiled brakes screech. The carriage too, that's unoiled. Do I dash it? No, I feel like it's one word. This is a problem with my sleep deprived brain. This will be a spelling thing I will have to check later. Oil is 2 L's, right? No, it's 1 L. I'm right. So should be unoiled. Sometimes the highlighting doesn't really highlight the un when it has a prefix like un and n, and it throws me off, because I do rely on it sometimes while writing. At least once I start the editing process, I throw it out of my brain. You jolt away as the train's unoiled brakes screech the carriage to a halt. Your headphones slightly dislodge, and you hear the robotic announcer to call out your station. All right, cool. The announcer? Yeah, the announcer is, you know, like, dong. Well, you have reached the expo station, I guess. Do trains not have announcer in some parts of the country, I guess? In some countries? I guess so. Singapore has audio announcer. I feel like there should be announcer. Are they called announcers? So this is one of those things where would the announcer be louder than the rumble? Yeah, the announcer will be louder than the rumble. That's why I didn't want to use the rumble to wake up the character. Oh right, you live in Singapore. Right, will it be louder? That's why I don't want to use like the rumble to wake a character up. I think a jolt, the screech. Nah, I think this is fine. This is kind of a suspension of disbelief kind of thing. You can have a loud screech that goes through your headphones, and you hear the robotic announcer call out your station. A passenger making a loud noise. That might. I kind of want to have the brake screech though, because my idea is that this world, this setting is kind of it's a bit cyberpunky, you know. It's a little bit like dystopian, it's quite dystopian. There's gonna be like a corporate security walking around kind of thing later on. So I don't want the transportation and public service to look clean. So I do think like brake screeching helps paint that image that, oh, there's this, the train isn't well maintained. You get what I mean? So that's why I went with the unoiled brakes screeching specifically, right? So I want to paint as much of this world as I can within each of these sentences, because you only have so many sentences you can work with at the start of within the first paragraph, right? So you have to kind of try to work in as much as you can to paint the opening images. It's the hook. How you write it is gonna be how people remember it. You know, your headphones slightly dislodged and you hear the robotic announcer call out your station. The robotic announcer, this is really weird because usually I just write it and my brain actually knows why. So now I have to kind of explain why I wrote it. So I'm questioning my own brain, like, hey brain, why you wrote this? And my brain is going, I wrote this because. So I wrote it as a robotic announcer so that it gives this more like cyber feel, like it's kind of cyberpunkish feel, but it's not a full like cyberpunk setting. It's closer to modern dystopian punk. You have to keep reminding yourself to ignore the plot holes. I think it's less plot holes. I think it's just like, will the train interior have neon lights too? No, there is this thing where it can have, but there's this thing where less is more in writing. You don't want to write too much of certain descriptions, because every single person's understanding of what certain adjective is different. So like, for example, if I have to write something like the length of a stick, and I want it to be long, if it's not a technical information relevant to like the story or information that is required, I will just write this: he picked up a long stick, instead of like he picked up a 2-meter stick. Now, he picked up a really long stick. I'll use this unclear 5 Big Macs long. Yeah, I won't write that. I will write like, he picked up a stick longer than he is tall. I will give a precise length if I don't have to. So because everyone's definition of long is different, right? For me, a long weapon is like 3 meters. For someone else, it could be like 2 meters, and how they imagine length is different. So if I just write something like the neon lit train, the neon lights of the train flickered as you jump out of your seat. Still groggy. So I won't say how it's lit. I won't tell you how much it's lit, but you get this sense of, oh, there are neon lights. All right, so your brain fills in the type of whatever it is that neon light means to you. What kind of neon lights will be on the train? Your brain will fill it in, and you will imagine the neon light. And the moment I write flickered, you have this. The idea is you'll have this like vision of of a less well kept, less well maintained carriage. Is this all making sense? Trying to condense information that has always been kind of naturally in my head into speech lesson. Does that yeah, okay, I guess it might. Yes, you understand everything. Good, thank you. Right, so am I gonna keep the scene like this? I want to add in characters because I want to add in. I think this is okay for the opening. It's setting, it's character. It gives me enough information about the state of the world. Opening painting. Do I want to write it in past tense? Oh, I'll deal with the grammar later. Do I want? No, I want to give it another station. You know what? Calls. Call out the station. Did not hear its name correctly. You know, seats instinctively. Still groggy. Okay, I want to give myself a 1 station gap because I want to introduce background characters to paint the world properly. Instinctively, still groggy. Still groggy. Only to realize you are 1 station away. But embarrassed. Okay, now I'm using personal experience. Embarrassed to that's not right. What? Embarrassed to have stood up prematurely. You move to the exit as if it was planned that you were exiting. As if you had planned to stand up. No, prepared to. Yes, okay. I will rephrase this in the edit. Let me do this right. I have a. Does the main character have powers? This is why I wanted to have a 1 station gap, because I want to introduce the powers concept. Right, the main characters doesn't have power. None of the people have power. The idea is that the power will be granted whenever you put on costume, whenever you embody the fandom that you are in. So if you're just wearing normal clothes, if you're just living normal life, you don't have power. I have a rough concept of how this system will work. Basically, the more engaged you are with the quote unquote fandom, the better you have access to the powers, the more accurate your access to the power is. So this is why I wanted to leave this 1 station gap, or have a look around. No, if it's a second person, it can't be past tense. So present tense, you look around the carriage and see. The grammar is gonna be so bad because I'm so used to writing in past tense. I'll slip in and out. Hopefully I can catch it when I'm editing it. You look around the carriage to see and saw to too comforting. I want the main character to see cosplayers on the train, right? So he's looking around the carriage and he sees cosplayers, and I want him to have a sense of comfort as he sees the cosplayer. So usually while I'm writing, something like this will take me like 30 minutes to think up of and write, just to figure out how to phrase it in such a way as to convey that energy. Luminobe, it sounds like we need to introduce a lapper in this story. Maybe a pair of twins cosplaying. They are kind of background characters. I'm not introducing them as main characters. These are scene setters basically. I want to focus on just, there will only be two named characters in this story. That's my focus. Because short stories, you don't want to have too many characters. You want as many as is needed, not as is wanted. In novels, you kind of have a lot more leeway to play around. You can add characters that you want to have, not need to have, because you have so much time to explore them and they will kind of grow into their own. But in short stories, you have a limited amount of time. It takes about 500 words to properly give an introduction to a character. I'm giving very vague numbers, around 500 words, that kind of thing, because of course, depending on skill level, depending on what kind of story you're writing, it can change. But around 500 words to properly introduce a character. So you don't want to spend more time than is needed on a short story. So think of it like, if I have 3,000 words, I don't want more than maybe 2 or 3 main characters or 2 or 3 named characters, because otherwise your entire story will just be introducing characters. So having background characters is good to kind of like just paint this out. The longest short story I ever wrote is about 6,000 words, I think, if I remember it correctly. And it only has like 4 characters. So yeah, that's roughly how that's how I personally do it. I'm sure other authors have different ways. You look around the carriage and start and see why they write song. You look around the carriage and see a pair. No, I don't want to start with 2. Carriage, you see 2 familiar figures, not because you know them, they're as people, but by the way they dress. Glowing. Okay. So just now you saw me delete the U, because I have kind of a off rule in which I don't like starting 2 back-to-back paragraph with that same word. I feel like it looks ugly in writing. It's also a reason why I try not to reuse words within a paragraph too much. So as I write, you'll see this happening. You'll see me describe something and I'll use 2 similar words back to back in back-to-back sentences, and I'll just delete it and replace it with something else. You don't really want to. Oh, god damn it, this is such a weird song to music to come out. You know what, never mind, let's just keep going. Yeah, you don't want to have the same enunciation, even if you're reading mentally, even if you're not like reading a story out loud. having two similar words back to back, not as a alliterative sense, in the sense that they are not meant to evoke a similarity, it becomes kind of, it feels basic, you know. It's not that you want to prevent repetitions. It's, man, wow, this is actually a lot harder to explain all my everything I've learned. Like, why have I learned this? It's not a repetition thing. You want repetition when you want it. You want to write repetition is kind of like a technique. You use it and it has to mean it. It has to mean something when you use it. It's not meant to just be there, right? If a thing is repeated, it's important, or it's meant to evoke a feeling. So if you end up using repeated words in a paragraph, it loses its strength. And you don't want words to lose their strength. Every paragraph should feel as fresh as you can make it. The second repeated word is usually useless. Yes and no, because if you repeat a word, it means that what you're trying, especially if it's like an adjective, it means that you have already described what is already happening, so you don't have to re-describe it again. But sometimes you do need to, like, especially with movement words like run, jump, right? You jump over a hedge, and you jump after you win again, that kind of stuff. But you don't want to repeat the same word, because if you keep repeating it, it loses its strength. So you kind of try to find a second word that is similar to jump. So you leap over a hedge and then you jump across the pond, that kind of stuff. So it becomes two separate action. One is a action that is connected to the hedge, and the other one is connected to the pond. Instead of you jump over the hedge and you jump across the pond, and then now it becomes like Super Mario. You go twing, twing, you know. It evokes a different sense. That's how I've been. That's how, you know, when I learn how to write, that's the image that has been conjured up. So looking around the carriage, you see two familiar figures, not because you see them as people. Jesus Christ. All these editing stuff it's just embarrassing when I'm writing it first draft. Not because you see them, not because you know them as people. But by the way they dress. Really, I'm thinking pretty cure. Really, how do I describe pretty cure? Really dresses black and white with a adornment of hearts and stars. Something vague. Magical girls. Girls from from an anime, from a recently popular manga? Should I go with manga? Popular anime. It even had magic wands right down at the belt. Cosplayers should be another place. A comforting sight. Someone like yourself. Ta-da. Okay, 3 paragraph, You have introduced the settings. You have introduced background. You have introduced theme. No, what's this? Genre? Feeling? Genre. Feeling? Environment? What is that word? Atmosphere. All right, you have atmosphere. Cosplayers. All right. So okay, as the train atmosphere. Yes, atmosphere. I came up with the word. I got it before you had to tell me. Okay, and as the train rode into the next station, stood up and went to door next to yours. Together. Yeah. No. Chatting away amongst themselves. Woo. No, no woo, no woo. Oh, okay. The woo is just me having. God, sometimes when you write, you just write what you think immediately. Chatting casually away, casually chatting away, casually chatting away. Okay, I want to make it seem casual, as if this is something normal. Yes, and then the twist comes next. I want them to show off their powers. They're wearing magical costumes. They're gonna do some basic magic while they're stepping out of the train. So up until this point, the story is basically normal modern world. And then they're gonna step out and go, what? Right? So this is what I mean by starting point, midpoint, end point. I have the starting point, which is you on the train, and the midpoint is I want your characters to I want the character to go to the convention, and in the convention a conflict happens. So in the middle, I will set things up to explain the world. So now I want something to happen. No, the light's already flickered. So at the start, I had the flickered light. Then, the rumble train. I don't think I need to then. Suddenly, the rumble of the train stopped, and the lights flickered off, throwing the cabin into darkness. Alright, I don't want it to be horror. Illuminate, do you prefer if I chat less so you can focus on writing? No, please feel free to ask questions and chat, because I will, after every time I write something, I will stop and just look at chat, because I do need to break off from writing, because you kind of have to think of it like, oh man, the music ended. Hang on. Man, this is such a short playlist. Alright, I'm going. Let's see. Can I just filter by Kevin? Oh, okay, this is so much better. Alright, go. Okay, hang on. What was I saying? Do I... Ah, damn it. Whatever. Let it go. Alright, I'm just gonna let it go. Do I prefer if I chat less so we can... No, please feel free to chat. Feel free to ask questions, because I will stop look at the chat, and then I'll continue writing. And while you're writing, it's sometimes you get into a flow. If I'm in a flow state, you'll know. But if I'm not, breaking out of the flow and coming back into the flow is actually very helpful. One thing I found as I end up writing more professionally is that over a long time, you're gonna get into a lot of writer's block, and stopping the writing process and just keeping it like in like level 2 subconscious helps to process what you're writing faster, and then you just kind of quickly come back to it. How about background bug songs that on MacLeod? Let's go with MacLeod first, you know. But I'm going to skip this one. All right. I'll try again next live stream with different sound and music. God damn it, this is also stupid. You know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna absorb the music. All right. Hello, Kiwami. Hey, hi, Kiwami. Young manager, I have just finished a cooling task of 13,000 words. Jeez, congratulations. You wait, 13,000 words since you were last on the stream, or 13,000 words today? Because both is equally impressive, but one is obviously more impressive. Aiden isn't young at all. Look, if Kiwami is role-playing as Dawn, everyone's young. Don Quixote's like 200 plus years old. She's really, really old. It's fine, right? Around 5,000 words today, I believe. Wow. Wow, that's really, really impressive. Man. Yeah, I can write 5,000 words a day sometimes. But it really depends on the day, you know. Marriage? You wrote 5,000 words on marriage? Wait, no, that's auto-translate. God damn it. What? Why is Google auto-translating the chat? It just says ahead. It's not marriage. She's... Why is ahead because marriage? Can I turn off auto... God damn it. Google's AI is annoying. Yeah, Google auto-translated your message, by the way. Damn it. I hate Google so much. Yesterday, it was around 5,000 words. Wow. I remember writing 2K words in a few hours, then deleting yeah. I think my record was... I think I wrote a 6,000 words in a day. That was my record. I'm generally quite slow when I'm writing. I used to think that if I sit down and write, I need to write at least 1,000 words, 2,000 words, etc. I think I got to the point where it became more about, I won't say quality, but better structuring than number of words. So, like I was explaining to like I was explaining to Illuminubi, all these things I'm writing, it's more about thinking about what I'm writing and slowly conveying what I want, rather than word salad or word tornado. There's nothing wrong with word salad and word tornado, because here's the thing, right? We usually become writers because we read books and we know what are good writing, and so we kind of have this like instinctual sense of what is good writing. So when we write, we can write well, because we know what's good. But as I grew older, I kind of lost that ability to just write good instinctively. It becomes kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a muscle. It's like how as a kid your imagination is more free-flowing, right? And as I grow older, the imagination kind of slowed down into something that I need to learn to control. So now when I write, it's like I spend a lot of time on various planning stages, and I put like maybe one for like a story, like say one chapter of a story, I would plan for maybe 1 week, and then I'll write in a day. I'll write about 2,000 words in a day. You know, it's kind of like a growth. Is it a growth? I don't know. That sounds weird. Growth sounds like I have a lump in my brain or something. I believe it was around 3 days ago that I started in this quest and finishing this grand tale. Actually, for me, I written before I knew that writing have existed. Yeah, art exists before we knew art exists. So I'm not surprised. I was doing certain forms of art like game design before I knew game design was a job, that kind of stuff. I would do like jotter book art, games kind of thing. Yeah, all these things are how we grow as artists. We discover something that we didn't know. We found it fun, find out that other people have done it, and we put a name on it. Yeah. So yeah, cool. Illuminati sacrifices were necessary. Oh yeah, deleting those words, right? Yeah, I have a habit of. I used to have a habit of trashing stories. I wrote like 10,000 words on a novel, and then I'll be like, this isn't great, and then I'll just delete it, and then I'll just sit there thinking, what have I done? But I stopped doing that. I realized that sometimes just keeping bad writing for you to read back on is actually very healthy as a creative, because you can look back and see what you did right, what you did wrong. You get a sense of it as you get older. I wished I kept more of my writings from my earlier years, especially the ones that I did in like physical books. I still have most of my digital writing, but I also wrote quite a bit like in school on paper, and yeah, those are gone, man. I really wish I still knew how to find them. I've taken writing a little seriously for about 4 years, yet yonder forwards to the past, for I was writing at the mere age of a newborn fixer. How old are fixers in Olympus? What's the youngest fixer we've seen in Olympus? The twins from Library of Arena. They were really young. Let's say 12. I think you can bother people when you're 12, right? I started writing when I was 14, 13. Yeah, Finn is 18 or 19, but there was like Finn was part of. You remember there was the twin girls. I can't remember the name. I think they were younger than Finn. Yeah. As a newborn fixer in which had yet gained the title of a fixer because all fixers are over the age of 18. All fixers are legally quote unquote over the age of 18. Yeah, Pamela and Pamela, yeah. What if they're just short old ladies? Let's not dwell on this. This is too much. I was going to say, like, if you had asked me 3 years ago, right, I would say like, sure, Don Quixote is young, and then now I know she's like some obasa, you know. Sinclair's not a fixer yet, so he doesn't have a license. Yeah, you know. But nobody knew Dawn's age. So Dawn was just given a fixer license, even though she might. So nobody knew she was old. You know what? Let's not question the logic of that. Man, I finished the latest interval. It was quite fun. We'll talk about this later. I want you to finish this paragraph though. Suddenly the rumble of the train stopped and the lights flickered off, throwing the cabin into darkness. There were murmurs of discontent, of fear, of hesitation. I will split these up into paragraph later, because I want to just get these words out. How would they get off? Phones, lights from phones were beaming out. People. I want the magical girls to cast something. Light? Yes, light. I think that's fine. Then in the within the shadows cast from the phones, one of the girls took out. Oh, come on. What's a magical girly spell name to be used? I'm thinking she flourishes. I can't use actual licensed magical girl stuff, so I can't say anything about Pretty Cure or any. So it'll just have to be a generic magical girl spell. So Magi light balls. You know what? I will think about this. Kiwami, I have yet to finish the new intervals, but verily I've seen the face of the illustrious. The new interval is fun. It's really fun. I like how they set up character. We'll talk about this more later. I like how they set up yourself. Illumi, sending blessings to Kim Ji-hoon, an artist for making BHK handsome. So many fixers have stated that Tua is not handsome at all. Yeah, but he's so good looking. Arcana. Currently I have gained an idea most ingenious for something new that I may or may not, but probably a bit will be writing. That's good. Young ideas are great. I had so many ideas overflowing when I was a kid. When I was younger, I had so much ideas coming in and out that I found less time to write. That I couldn't finish writing it. But I didn't have the skills to bring so many of those ideas to life. But now that I'm older and I do have the skills, my ideas don't come as naturally to me. But the ones that do often are really interesting and they're fun and they're just nicer experiences, you know. So yeah, trading quantity for quality, I guess. This I would dare say quantity for quality. Arcana beats. Power of love. Arcana Flash. Yeah, Arcana Flash. Aries. Alright. And the room is gonna fill up with fairies that are light. Flash fairies? Okay. All right. Before I write that, I want to stylize this line. So first things first, make it very fancy. Can I double up? Can I do this? No, 0.5 is too high. So what I'm doing is making a physical thing. Can I go lower? 0.5, 0.1? Nope, 0.5 is the highest. It's okay. I will do this later. Alright, basically what I wanted to do was adjust the kerning. So kerning is the spacing between paragraphs, between sentences, between lines. I want to adjust it so that they are basically 1 pixel off each other, and they will be 1 pixel off each other and slightly to the right. So it'll be 2 of them casting at the same time, right? So both the girls took out their 1. These are just little tricks I like to play with the way you typeset words. But I will do this later, post writing, before I format them into publishable volumes. Yep. I should. Okay. I cannot flash fairies. Okay. Lots of chat. Let's see. Okay, from top. Currently, I have 2 concepts/stories of which I have been grabbing since the beginning of my works. I simply lack such high skills of grand writers and embark myself in task and complete. Yeah, that's usually how it works when you're younger and starting out. Because I keep getting the infuriating experience of imposter syndrome. You will find a time when the imposter syndrome just disappear. I can't tell you when, but it will just disappear if you just keep writing. For me, it took like 8 years, 7-8 years, and there was like a moment where my brain just went like, oh, I'm a writer, okay. And then it just went, and life just went on. But there was a moment where I realized I was like, okay, I'm a writer then, I guess. And then there was another moment where I'm like, okay, I guess I'm a professional writer now, I guess. I feel like it is a bit unrealistic for the cosplayer to use a wand like she'd been using it for years. Maybe it would be better to have it flash on her belt, and she takes it slightly confused. That's... No, I want to kind of just have it be a natural thing. Like, I want these powers to be normalized in this world. I get what you're saying. But I want these phenomenon to be normalized so that people will know that you get to use magic and powers by pretending. So in this world, it is normal for fans to have the power of their characters, but not all of the powers. So I will write a scene later. Let me just double check what scene. So it will be like in the show. I will need a name for them. Flash fairies able to illuminate entire cities, but with the level fan power. Fan power is gonna be a temporary word until I figure out something better. But with the level of fan power accessible in the car and by the girls, lighting up the carriage. The carriage was likely the most it could do. So now we have a internal review of abilities and what they could do and what they are now and how they scale. Power scaling. Alright. Let's see. Skill Kiwami 3. You should always remember that. Oh, I should read your report. You should always remember there will be someone who will enjoy whatever you write. You should write even if there's nobody to enjoy it. If only you enjoy it. It's kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to explain. But yes, there will always be someone who enjoys what you write. Finding them is another story, but every story is someone's favorite story. Some of my earliest stories that I wrote ended up being some people's favorite stuff. They were quite sad when I stopped writing them because early fan fiction days is like you just write a couple of chapters because you have the idea, and then you stop because you run out of ideas, you run out of steam. So yeah, but every story is someone's favorite story. It's adapted from like every video game is someone's favorite video game. But perchance tis to work. Yeah, maybe. Illuminati. Indeed, I have already made a person. Yeah. Ooh, wow. You have made a person distort due to you. Everything okay? That's not true. Don't distort random people, man. Interesting thing. I should rework my main work for the 5th time. Rework as much as you need, I think, but don't rework until this might be a bad advice, but you should finish writing something first before you rework it. So if you're working on a novel, keep writing that novel until you're either done, like you finish the entire novel, or you can't continue anymore. Then you will rework it. Push to your limits, and then you start reworking it. Because if you keep reworking it, you could end up training yourself to never finish a story. This was like a really bad habit I had when I was starting out, in that I didn't finish a lot of stories because I jumped straight into writing novels or long form stories. It wasn't until I finished my first novelette that I broke away from that habit. I started breaking away from the habit. I realized like I have to finish writing something, or I have to write until I cannot write anymore. And if it's still not finished, then I restart, because that means that's as far as that tank of fuel can go. Otherwise, it becomes very comfortable. I feel this is completely psychological. I think like it becomes very comfortable for me to feel that I don't have to finish a story, and that's not a good long-term thing that's good for your brain. If you're doing art over time, it's better to write until you can't. I have a lot of stories that I didn't finish, but after a certain point in my life, I have a lot of stories. I have less stories that I didn't finish, and more stories I couldn't finish, and that was better because it meant that I know where I stand, and then I can come back and finish them later. So for example, my first novel, 139 in Evening, I wrote it 3 times. The first time I couldn't finish it. I didn't know how to write it. The second time I couldn't finish it, and then the third time I finished it. In comparison, there's another novel long ago that I just kept rewriting. It's called Absolution. And up until now, I haven't finished it. Even though I have the full story in my head. But I kept rewriting it over and over again because I had this like very bad fantasy that it's gonna be one of the best novel I ever written. And then it just ended up being the novel that I've never written, you know. Please distort me with writing. Would I distort or would I manifest ego? That's a good question, actually. Young man nature. I have planned it for so long that I believe the novel shall be the size of a few thousand chapters. Wow. That's too much. I would like to say that's too much, but the longest novel ever written is like, I think it's a Super Mario fanfiction or something. It has a couple of thousand chapters and it's still ongoing. So, if it will be a few thousand chapters and you can keep writing it, go for it because you will be legendary. Okay. I need to write the description for the carriage. Oh, exploded. Fireflies. No, that's not how you spell fireflies. Flies. No, I don't want gently. Underwhelmingly. I should be reading while I'm typing because that would make better content. I realized I was holding my breath the whole time while I was writing. Underwhelmingly is not a word, is it? It is a word now. I chose to have it as a word. Tiny fairies, almost like fireflies, floated underwhelmingly out from their wands. Underwhelmingly out from their wands. That's not how you spell wands. And wands. The creatures. I don't want to say floated again because I said that floated before. The creatures spread throughout the carriage. Yes, that's a better term. See, this is another thing that, like, why I don't want to repeat words, because it gives you more chance to describe a scene. So I said fireflies floated underwhelmingly out. So you know they float. You have a picture of what action they take to create movement. And then if I had used floated again, it doesn't add anything. But now that I say spread, you can see it like they are expanding outwards instead of just moving through the carriage in a line. So if I had used float again, so if I went like the creatures float, right, I'm not supposed to be writing in past tense. I'm gonna have to edit that out later. But yeah, the creatures float throughout the carriages. If I wrote float and float, it will just, in my mental image, it's like a line, like a conga line of fairies, but a float and a spread. Now there's something, right? As well as the neighbors giving enough light to bathe the passengers in a cool glow. And the music changed to something stupid again. That is so anticlimactic. It's like they're telling me you messed up. The presence of light ain't gonna get the train moving again, though. Yeah, I know it's not going to, but I like to think like it's a calming thing. You know, the magic doesn't fix everything. I don't want the magic to fix everything. This should be accessible. My idea for this power thingy, right, is that it is a representation of creativity and art and sharing of it. Art doesn't fix anything. It's just nice to have. It gives calmness in the dark. So this is like the sharing of art. The power is like a physical manifestation of creativity, of art, of fandom. So they shouldn't have the power, that kind of power, unless it is a gathering driven by a collection of all these things, like the first Burning Man, or you know, We Are the World music, you know, something that has a lot of gathering, a lot of people coming together to change the way we see things. That's the only time when, you know, they should have the power to completely off kilter the environment in like actual. This music is not helping my I am no, don't repeat it. God damn it. The music is not helping my very serious point. Yeah, but yes, you know that. Yeah, that's how I'm thinking about the system of the world. So usually when I write these, I know a lot of writers. I have a couple of writing friends who like to be more subjective, or no, subjective is not the word. Less technical with the way magic systems work. My friend Lauren Morrison, who wrote How to Break an Evil Curse, we've talked about it. She's very light on the rules. I'm not that kind of person. You know, I like to think about the rules. This is a completely personal preference. You can be a person who is light on like magic systems, and it can still be a very good story. This is just a me thing, right? Watching the write is quite entertaining, especially since I have no clue how fixers like the write, rather just going by my own experience without knowing the process of others. Yeah, everyone writes with different process. Doesn't help that I have aphantasia. That really makes my writing process a bit weird. I would normally use synonyms within these types of scenarios and try to express further by imagining what the character or thing have been doing and explaining it. That, or comparing the scene to another experience. Yeah. You want to... Wow, the music is... You know what? This is fine. This music is fine. Can I just sort this by genre? I will have to find a better soundtrack next time. What is this music? It's fine. Alright. For the next tree on the list, seems like it's pretty decent music. So... okay, so I have notes about the comparing of scenes to another experience. So it depends on what you want to do. If you're trying to explain an impossible thing, I would say you shouldn't compare it to an experience that you have. What I mean is, for example, I want to explain I want to describe the sensation of breathing air made of plutonium, right? Like plutonium in its gaseous state, whatever that is. You shouldn't be using a description based on an experience that you have, because it's an experience that you can never have. So you should describe it as otherworldly as possible. Like the air feels like molten magma is being breathed into your lungs. That's how I would describe a scene like that, because there's no comparison, but it is vivid and visceral enough that you can feel what it will be like, right? It is a visceral strength from exaggeration. However, if you are describing something adjacent to an experience, feel free, because this is kind of a cultural difference. If I'm writing, for example, the public transport experience of my country, I will try to liken it to a universal experience, like what I'm writing now, right? So in earlier, I wrote the experience of the main character standing up only to realize that they were early to stand up before they have reached the station that they were supposed to disembark. This is like a universal experience. So this is a thing that you can use to make a reader understand, like, this place is different, but there are universal experiences. So even though there are neon lights on a train, and usually there are no neon lights on the train, something is different, there are still universal experiences to make things the same. Does that make sense? From the fact that you say you shall take notes, I hope that makes sense, right? So, comparing scenes to other experiences should be done with intent. Know when you are trying to compare a scene, because you want someone to feel something familiar, and when you are comparing a scene, because it is impossible for them to otherwise experience it. So comparing breathing plutonium to liquid magma pouring down your lungs is just visceral enough, because you have enough experience to know what liquid magma looks like and can imagine it going down your lungs, even though if you've never done it. So, but you use that familiarity to explain impossibility. You believe I am writing a second person. This is the first time you're reading on. Yes, I am writing in second person. I also don't write second person often. This is only the second time I'm writing in second person. It just feels right for this story to be in second person, because I'm writing a character that is meant to be the common man within this world. So writing in second person lets the reader put themselves into the story quickly. Second person for the second time. Yes, very ironic. Is that irony? I don't know. I never really understood irony, to be honest. Tiny fairies, almost like fireflies, float underwhelmingly out from their wands. The creatures spread throughout the carriage, as well as their neighbors. As well as their neighbors, giving enough light to bathe the passengers in a cool glow. It calmed many people, calmed by the beautiful sight, retreated from their unease. For you, okay, so we have, I want to connect this to this. You can't help but think the origin, the magic of the spell. In the show, magical girl. Twins. Yes, okay. In the show, magical twins, the flash fairy spell was able to illuminate an entire city. Okay, now I've connected that to that. But it was still magic, and it was magic that did its job. The passengers were entertained for long enough that when the lights came back on and everyone began this bucking, all that was left were thanks, were tones of appearance, thank yous and goodbyes, thank yous and goodbyes to the magical ghosts who waved back happily. Okay, I think this is a good opening. This is a good enough opening. 375 watts. That's pretty good. The settings, themes, genre, atmosphere, rules, powers. Everything seems to have been fine. Let's see. Can we take the last 30 minutes to talk about other things? Yes, that's actually why I rushed this last bit of writing, because I do want to talk about other things. Hello. Oh, Oreo cheesecake number 2. I did not see that name because my screen is still too small. I need to work out with this screen. But hello, welcome to the stream. I've never understood irony ever, without a doubt. Greetings to the young Oreo. Yes, greetings. Feel free to look or talk. All's fine. Yes. So that's it for the writing, I guess. I will pause the writing here. I will go back to like edit this because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of spelling and grammar mistakes, but that's what first drafts are for. Would it be possible for me to check what Layton games I have? Professor Layton games. I don't think I have any on Steam. I used to play it on my DS. Was it my DS? Damn, it's been so long. But I have a lot of it like wish listed. So I've been wish listing a lot of games so that I can buy them in bulk. So I usually save up like $100, and then when the summer sale or winter sale comes, I'll pick out a bunch and I'll buy it. So but I've been on an indie games kick for the last few years. So I bought like 60 plus indie games. So many that I have not finished, you know. Is it healthy? Nah. None of the Little games are on Steam yet. Yeah, that's why. Okay, I think I don't have any left because I moved house about a decade before. No, I should still have it left. Where did I put my... you know what, Illuminati? I will get back to you because I don't remember where I put my games from back then. I have like if you see some of my videos, right, I have this cabinet of all my like PlayStation games, but my other games like my DS games, I keep it somewhere else, but I haven't played them in a long time, so I don't remember. Did I lend it to my sister? This is not good. I do like a lot of my games. Where did I put them? That's not good. I will get back to you. Remind me of this next time I stream Illuminati so that I can like get back to you on this. 374 words. May I ask thee, how many words does thou normally write per hour or day? Oh, how many words do I write? That's actually a really weird answer. It's a good question with a weird answer. In that I can write up to 5,000 words a day, but I don't, not because I can't anymore, but because I don't want to or need to, or I don't think it is the best. I don't think counting words like per hour per day is the best way to judge your growth as a writer anymore. I used to think that, and it really burned me out. Like I used to keep, yeah, the music is very intense, and I was like, why is this music going on? But I was too lazy to change it. But yeah, I used to get really burnt out because I keep thinking, oh, I have to finish. I think I was trying to aim for 1,000 words a day, and I think by year 5 I was so tired of trying it that I stopped. There were a few years where I stopped writing, and I could like I could only put in like maybe 150 words a month, that kind of stuff, where I considered quote unquote writing. And I just learned somewhere along the line that writer's block is real but manageable, and good writing is more about whether or not you can let it flow naturally without forcing it out. If you have to force out your writing, it's probably not going to be good. It's probably gonna feel stilted, like almost like man, trying to put process of art into this is really hard. I have a new respect for art streamers now. From Kiwami, for me, I would normally write 2,000 or so in an hour. However, this is mostly based on my motivation. Even the one I had mentioned today when I hopped onto the street. Yeah, so it's like, I think it's okay if you're motivated to write as much as you want. For my second book, Years to the End of the World, I wrote that very, very fluidly. I think I did like 1,500 to 2,000 words every hour as well, right? So because that story came to me very naturally, but other stories took longer. I have a couple of chapters of my books where I wrote maybe the whole chapter in 36 hours, and sometimes the chapter is like maybe 1400 words only, but they were decent 1400 words. Like, it wasn't forced, in the sense that I didn't have to just force myself to write until it came out. I would write a paragraph, wait, and then when the right formation of words came for the next paragraph, I just go to my computer and just type it out, and the next paragraph come out. Basically, it's a lot like this stream, right? I will write a paragraph, wait, talk to you guys, chat for a while, and then suddenly the right feel came to me to... Oh no, real shoe fell down. Okay. Yeah. She's out of frame. God damn it. Hang on. Real shoe fell down. She's out of frame. Yeah, new power fell. Yeah, I did. I almost didn't notice it, by the way. But yeah, that's basically it. You want to have it out. Let's see. I put 200 times in Nimbus today to spark the new ones. Oh, congratulations! I haven't pulled yet. I'm probably not gonna spark get the announcer, because I usually shut all my IDs to save the lunacy for Wild Puggies. So yeah. Oh yeah, let's talk about the new Intervallo. I'll try not to spoil anything. I'll just talk about the writing of it. I am very, very impressed by the setup for Meowsalt, because Salt is like the least fleshed out character in Limbus, and so far with every like final Intervallo of the Kantos of each season, Project Moon has done a very good job of setting up the next Kanto central character, in that they give them enough foreshadowing to make them relevant when the next Kanto opens, and even if they weren't given enough background, like say Honglu, by the time the Kanto rolls over, it's enough to make you care for what the story is going forward. But previously with Ryoshu, with Honglu, with Dawn, you have the sense, right, a long time ago of what they are, that they have more to them than meets the eye. And and the last Intervallo of the season will just kind of be like a nice little culmination of everything. But Meowsalt is not that, right? Meowsalt is this character that we have very little knowledge of, we have very little interaction with, and he is known for what we don't know. We know so little about him that's his character trait. His character trait is we don't know. And in this last Intervallo, you see the fact that we don't know anything about him, that we don't know what to expect of him, be the point. And I don't know if that's how they plan it out to be, or if that's just how they decided to write it as. If it is what they plan it to be, that's very impressive. If that's what they decided, that's incredibly impressive, because it means that they saw all this restriction and decided on the best course of action to introduce their main character for the next Kanto. It is a ridiculously good way to execute a character prologue. I'm just very impressed, right? The way it ended, the ending was so freaking good. I know it, for a lot of people, this is the ending for the Intervallo, right? Is not something a lot of people is I don't see a lot of analysis on it. I don't see a lot of people hyping it over it. But for me, it was so good because in a few lines you draw so much attention to Miyosol and everything about him, or what his problems might be, what his personality might be, what is this like overwhelming issue that we have underwhelmed for so long. It just chef's kiss. Perfect. Hold on, young manager, I must go. Perchance I'll see thee later if I have time. Well, feel free to come back, but thank you for coming by, Kiwami. Don't force yourself to have to rush back. I'm ending the stream like probably like 20 minutes. Now it's just the chill and easy part. So if you can come back and say hi and bye, it would be great. But if not, no worries. Have a good night. And that kind of, I don't know if it's night for you, but have, you know, goodbye to you. Yeah. But yeah, Miyosol. Predictions for the next Kanto. Let's see. So far, I'm like 80% correct on my Limbus Company predictions. I'm very happy with my batting average right now. I made a prediction off stream. I think it was off stream about about how the new nurse father, Rodia and the Valentino, the kid, what's his name, how they will be used to talk more about Araya, because we have Araya Roshu now, and we are about to get Yoshihide Araya in the story where Araya is Yoshihide. So, you know, yeah, I got it right again. I'm so proud of myself. Yeah, Lucio Heath, correct. Is it Heath? Is Heath gonna be Lucio? I thought it was Miso. It's fine. Yeah, but do you know Persona 6 had a trailer? Oh yeah, I did. It dropped. It was Ninja Drop, wasn't it? Like, I think it was Ninja Drop. I always wanted to get into Persona, but it became one of those things that where the more I put it off, the less I want to get into it. Yeah. So next Kanto. I don't have a lot of predictions because unlike the previous 3 Kanto, where it's like Don Quixote of the gentleman of the gentleman Don Quixote, to Honglou and then to Hellscreen, where I've read them or had or will read them or is reading, however you want to chronologically define it. I don't know anything about Miyazoto's story. I have zero history about it. I have zero knowledge about it, and I kind of just want to keep it that way. I want to see how it will be like for me to approach a story in which I have zero knowledge of. Miyazoto had you so frustrated at the end. Yes. Book Miyazoto was freaky. That's too much spoiler for me already, because I already can make a pretty good analysis from that. Yeah, okay, so Miyazoto at the ending is so frustrating for you. I get why, because I think so far each Kanto has themes about relationships, you know, from codependency to PTSD to familial abuse to toxic relationships to privacy stuff, you know. And I think Miyazoto is going to be about definitions of ideology. So I'm gonna, okay, so for example, right, the ending for this short story I'm writing, I said I wanted it to have a connection to Kamen Rider, and the reason for that is Kamen Rider has this quite famous director for policy, direction policy, which is that Kamen Riders, they are not heroes of justice, because they are heroes of freedom. They cannot be heroes of justice. They have to be heroes of freedom, because anyone can define justice themselves. They can define justice however they like. I can have my own justice. You can have your own justice, and they can be completely incompatible. But freedom is a different thing, right? There is a way to properly define freedom, even if most people don't understand there is, which is that you are free to do anything as long as you don't so long as you don't encroach on the freedom of others. So basically, there is individual freedom, which is like the freedom to do whatever you want, and then you really do it whatever you want without the care for others. And then there is collective freedom, where you're free to do whatever you want, as long as what you're free to do doesn't rip other people of their freedom. So to be truly free, everybody must have the freedom they want and make the compromise to be like, I won't take away your freedom. So Kamen Rider is like, I'm not here to uphold justice. I'm here to stop the bad guys from taking away other people's freedom. So that's like definition kind of thing. And I think Musou is gonna be something similar, in that his story is gonna be about definitions of something, right? He's gonna be very defined by the way he do things, because at the end of this intervallo, we start to see the so-called trauma with Musou, in that he follows everything to the letter, and up until now, it has always been this kind of joke, like, Musou do this, Musou do that, and then he would just do it. Musou go to the moon, Musou get me a cake, and Musou will go get a cake, that kind of thing. And it has been kind of been played as a joke that he's a robot, but it might be the relationship, the emotional trauma that is underlining his story. The relationship idea is that, I think it's gonna be like the way someone is defining Musou is not the way Musou would have defined himself. There's that part at the start where in the middle, where Dante was like, what did Dante say? They said they set a distinction that is very important to Musou. I can't remember the exact distinction, but he explained the distinction between two things, and it's like, this is important, and it's like, yes, this is important, and that was very important to him. So I think it's a pushback between who Musou is and what people think Musou is. Experience and memories, yes, correct, you are right. So I think that's gonna be it for Musou. Like, there is something that Musou either wants to be or actually is, and there is whatever make Musou what he is now. You're thinking he has some bad times with Ken experience. That is, yeah, Ken experience is featured very heavily, so I won't be surprised if Ken experience is used as the one of the central mechanics in the next story. So yeah, probably, but I think it will be kind of like the magical girls here, that it's gonna be a background. It's going to be the machine that drives the story. It won't be the story itself, right? So far, that's pretty much the way the city works. A lot of the worst things of the city is just it drives the central story. They have it's the big bad evil capitalism looming behind us at all times problem, right? I think I think that's how I would put it, right? I think that's how I would describe your short story as well. We'll have to wait and see, but I am quite invested in the story now, which is very, very like impressive, you know. Um, at the start, for say Isang, for Sinclair, for Gregor, for Rhodia, um, my investment came from it being the first taste of Limbus Company. Um, I wanted to I wanted to see where the story was going. I wanted to like the story, and so I put this investment into it. Uh, but as it goes on, I had to actually care about the characters, right? And um, Ishmael, Don Quixote, Hong Lu, Real Shu, up until now, all these characters I've had some experience with before. You know, everyone knows on Moby Dick. I have my own experience with all the other literary novels. Don Quixote, the novel is like he's like one of the classical literature that I am most into. Yeah, so I had these things to drive. So this is my first time with a character where I had nothing to drive me, and I am driven. I am interested. You know, they did something impressive. Current S Corp sounds like literal hell. Also, Honglu gets another evil idea again. Hang on, let me. I just realized the music has stopped. I'm gonna play it. The next one. Let's put it here. Okay. Yeah, current S Corp. I would be interested in seeing the story of S Corp, but I don't think we'll see it, or we should even see it in Limbus Company. I'll be honest. I don't think we should see it in Limbus Company. I might be wrong, but it's kind of like that is the side story of the side story kind of thing. A spin-off, if you will. And S Corp is basically a reflection of South Korea right now. I think it is quite pretty much a 1-for-1, except in the Limbus Company world, in the Library of Ruina, Lobcall world, the city, the Project Moonverse, right? That is how that's how S Corp is being portrayed right now. It's just South Korea and Project Moonverse. Hong Li gets another evil ID again. Yeah. I think the IDs so far have been this season at least has been tying up a lot of background lore together. So I'm also interested. Is Hong Lu's ID even considered evil? It's that new general, right? The Im Yop. If you're running out of things to say, try today's word. I'm not running out of things to say, by the way. I can talk about Limbus for a long time. So no, I will not try today's word. How could you even? I think yeah. The evil IDs, I think, it depends on. It's not really evil ID, is it? You got the escort Chunukun, right? Kinda. Oh yeah, it's not the Ingyot, right? So is it really evil? Would you consider like the RCorp IDs evil, or you know, or the House of Spiders? Okay, House of Spiders maybe, I guess. It's not a bad ID. It's just a ID used by one of our antagonists, right? He's catching a cop civilians who are trying to run away. Yes. I mean, all the IDs that are related to the corpse so far has been pretty bad, I guess. Unless they are the abuse. It depends on the, like, damn. How would you define an evil ID? Is it evil because in faction sense, or in story sense, or in their actions? Because if it's by their actions, then yes, Honglu is getting a bad ID, a bad guy ID, a villain ID. But so is like Don Quixote. Don Quixote got a T Corp ID. Don Quixote also anyone who gets I wouldn't say the M Corp stuff, because M Corp is bad N ID. Bad N ID is like if you were the villain of the story kind of thing, so I wouldn't consider that evil, I guess. I mean, they're also evil. If I remember correctly, he said he was hoping to rank up with his job. Sounds evil to me. Yeah, I guess it's a evil. It's a bad guy ID. It's not a antagonist ID. Okay, so it's a bad guy ID in the sense that he's taking on the ID of a bad guy character, a character that is a bad guy in the world of Project Moon. But it's not a villain ID in that it's not like House of Spider kind of thing. It's not a Ahab kind of thing. They are not the main antagonist of the story kind of thing. So sure, bad guy, sure. Villain, I wouldn't rank him up to that, right? I'm categorizing it like this because it's the city. Almost everyone's doing bad stuff. It's just like the level of bad. How bad are you doing bad? So, to be evil in the city, I think, is a high bar. To be the antagonist is based off the story. To be a bad guy is, yeah, I think he's definitely getting a bad guy ID. Who has the most bad guy ID right now so far? Do we count the... Oh, thank you. Yes, I have to remember to edit the stream later because I accidentally did the thing at the start, which is bad. I should really delete that. Yeah. Man. Okay. Okay, now I'm just thinking about all the IDs. I had noticed a trend in one thing about the IDs, right? Why did I even put it there? I didn't put it there. It's part of the automated thing with Scrivener. So Scrivener, I can fill up like some starting information, and it will just pop up, and that first page header is, yeah, it's automated. It will automatically put all those details, because when I'm sending out manuscripts to... Why did my phone notification go off? Didn't I silence it? Anyway, when I send out manuscript to like publishers for stuff, right? I will format it for them based on whatever criteria they need, and having that header just makes it easier, because I can just paste it on and send it out, and I don't have to keep rewriting it every single time, because that's like the default header for it. And I never thought I would be using my Scrivener for live streaming just as this stupid music thing. Okay, I will freaking make up a playlist next time. This is ridiculous. I'm getting trolled by my own music. Julia Crumb, thank you. That's what I'm here for. That's how I entertain, right? Self-own and stuff. Damn. Okay, I guess I will end the stream. I think this is a good place to end the first part. It's a good intro. The next time I come in, we'll start writing all the middles. That probably will last like 2 or 3 streams, you know. This might become like a episodic thing or seasonal thing. I don't know. Oh, right, the fan power thing. I'll think about this. So there are a couple of stuff that I will have to go off and think about behind the scenes. Like how I want to classify this fan power. Can't be a fan power, right? It beliefs. It's a love fandom. I just need a title for this short story. Having a title will help me like focus on how I want to feel about the story. Will I be doing different streams in between the writing one? As and when, I think. Definitely I will have post Limbus analysis stream when the new candle comes up. I might do couple of other streams as well. I don't know, man. Honestly, I'm kind of streaming what I feel like right now, but I do want to get into a habit of at least like tri-weekly or bi-weekly. No, that means twice a week. Once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks of stream. So it'll be what I feel when the time comes. I felt the wish for this stream because like I came up with I started fleshing out the ideas and of the story. I thought, okay, I can write this. I want to write this, and I think I'll just write this. I might do more media literacy stream if something comes up, right? Because right now I'm writing the I just finished filming the next main video essay, which will be a media literacy centered video essay. It is about Project Hail Mary, and so I don't have a media literacy topic that I want to stream about for now, because I'm focusing on that. But once that's over, I'm pretty sure I will stumble onto media literacy topic that I'm like, man, I should talk about that, and I'll probably do a stream on that. And if any games come up, I'll also probably stream it. And if I get really lazy to plan, I'll just do a mirror dungeon run, I guess. that's my fallback plan. When out of option, do a mirror dungeon run. I might do a reflection railway. Have I finished it? I'm one station away from finishing it. So no one likes mirror dungeon runs. Yeah, pretty sure that's true. It's more like an excuse for me to play mirror dungeon. You got 93 turns on R6. So far, I've had, I think, 10. I should be on road for below 80 turns, I think. This is my first try, so I don't know. I haven't reached the last one yet. I'm preventing myself from being spoiled. So I should be on the road for below 80 turns. I don't know what the last station is yet, so don't spoil it for me. But I think I will be hitting below 80 turns. Unless the last station is really, really messed up, then I probably won't. Having the full house of spiders fight the house of spiders was quite fun, to be honest. Really, by the way, I really like House of Spiders Ryoshu. Not just because it's Ryoshu's capstone ID, but also because the gameplay mechanics really fits me. The self-sacrifice, not the self-sacrifice, the murder your teammates thing really works for me. I'm very happy with just, it is literally the press damage button, not the win rate button. It's just press damage and go, and everyone dies. It's fine. It's okay. Lose clash. Just power up my Ryoshu and my Ryoshu will come out. It is so brainless. It's not team killing, it's just brainless. I wouldn't even say it's brainless because I did have to think after a while. It's just, it fits, you know? It just works. I don't know how to say it. I think it's a very interesting mechanic. Like so far, every single back end ID has introduced has introduced interesting mechanic for its time, right? Like NCOP Sinclair is like the first real negative coin ID, right? And playing around with sanity up and downs. And then we have your AHAB, which is your first assistance based IDs. And then you have your who came afterward? Don Quixote? Was it Don Quixote? No, Heathcliff. Right, Heathcliff. The sinking rolling sinking thing was quite cool. And then you have your blood feast, and then you have your Honglu's entire army, right? So this one where it's just kill my teammates and I'll wreck you, which actually really quite fun. Yeah, I don't have to worry about my team surviving because the point is they shouldn't survive. Takes a load off my brain, to be honest. Oh, Spice Bush Isang got forgotten. I think Isang was like, I don't know, it's because he's the first and they were like planning him out, but Spice Bush didn't feel right for to be added into like this group of interesting mechanics, because you know what, Spice Bush I think was the first time we have weighted attacks, right, for an ID. Yeah, I think so. But his special mechanics is the deluge, which is still unique to him. But yeah, sinking deluge and attack weight was the only thing with Spice Bush. So yeah, I think they haven't gotten the hang of like seasonal ID teams yet, because when you think of like the technological alliance IDs, honestly they're not very, aside from Spice Bush, they're not very interesting, right? They don't really complement each other. So I think back then they haven't gotten the whole ID needs to be team thing yet. And which is weird because MCOP came before Spice Bush. So, but if we're talking about back-end IDs, I wouldn't call Spice Bush his back-end ID. Yeah, the most forgotten faction is the technological alliance. I think, you know what? I would honestly think Isang's back-end ID is his Kubo ID. Right? That's his back-end ID. Because he doesn't really have a connection with K-Corp. Right? The whole storyline is just a flashback love letter to his past story. And his story isn't completely finished yet because the League of Nine is still out there. And so when he got Gubo, that was an actual mechanic, because you had that suicide, the team kill bullet of death, but you have to guard it so that it doesn't team kill. That was a new mechanic. That was an interesting mechanic, right? And they didn't know how Gubo would fight, and that would make sense as well. Yeah. So yeah, I think Yeah, I think I'm overanalyzing some of the IDs because like we've seen like yeah, the Project Moon team very good at writing, very good at planning things out. But even then, no matter how good you are still winging it like maybe 20% of the time. They're not me, they're not winging it 100% of the time, but they are definitely winging some stuff, right? Yeah, I'm more interested in Wongpuk's ID right now because actually I'm also really interested in the final 2 House of Spiders IDs because I really want to see Araya Shide. I want to see what happened to Araya. I hope she doesn't die. Be really sad if she dies. Half a Monk is gonna have a new restaurant team soon. They already showed what foods and merch they're gonna sell. Did you see their? They have that new the Ham Ham Pang Pang trailer. Is that a trailer? Yeah, it's a Library of Ruina epilogue. And I think that's cool. Valencion and Hifsio are never going to be. They will be. I think it definitely will be. Cause one, we haven't reached the end of the season yet. There's still quite a ways to go. We still need to get the Millsalt season NID. So once we got the Millsalt season NID, that's when we know the season will end. But before that, we still need to know. We still need to know what Araya Yoshihide's ending is. To be honest, I really want to know what Araya Yoshihide what happened to Araya Yoshihide. And yeah, okay. And with this really epic music, I will end the stream because I'm starting to get cross-eyed. My insomnia has cost me too much focus, and my eyes can no longer focus because of the loss of focus. Remember to edit the stream. Yes, remember to edit the stream. I will put a note. Remember to... Where's my notepad? Remember to edit the stream. Otherwise, no VOD. Alright, okay, cool. Alright, thanks everybody for coming and watching. Thank you again to Illuminabe for watching the whole way. I don't know why, but thank you. And when this short story is done, it will be fully edited and released to Patreon as a proper like release thing. You will get credit if you help. Thanks everybody. That everybody is just me. Yes, I am pretending that there will be. My friend, another streamer, said, always pretend you're talking to 10 people. And that's what I'm gonna do. Also, I think it helps with the VOD. Like, a lot of people watch the stream after the stream. I can't really blame them. I'm one of those people who watch streams after the streams as well. So, thanks everybody who watched the stream live, and also thanks to everyone who watched the stream not live. Aha, big brain. Okay, I'm officially losing my mind from being too tired. I'm gonna end the stream now. Thank you, and bye.